first Node.js Foundation Node ChakraCore working group meeting. This is a kickoff meeting to get everyone acquainted and on the same page on what we're doing here. And we have present Arunesh Chandra, Janshung Su, João Reais, Satyapriyan Vairamani, please correct me if I mispronounce your name, also known as the fourth eye. So I would suggest we go around and introduce ourselves briefly. So
all right.
Everybody can know who you are and what your involvement with Node and Node ChakraCore is. Arunesh, you want to go first?
Okay. My name is Arunesh Chandra, and I work as a program manager on the Node ChakraCore team. I've been involved with this project from the beginning when we wanted to extend Node ChakraCore, Node to ChakraCore, and I have been involved in this project, for some time, and continue to do that. So yeah, that's what my involvement is.
Great.
My name is Jianchun.
It goes by JC, by the way.
Yeah, it goes by JC. I'm a dev working on Chakra and Node ChakraCore for maybe since last year, I guess. So I continue to work on this project.
Great. And then we have João.
Hey, I'm João Reis. I'm a contributor to Node.js and mainly for Windows issues, but I like to support Node on ChakraCore too.
Great, thank you. And then we got the fourth eye.
Hey guys, I'm the fourth eye. I'm one of the contributors of the Node.js core repository. Basically, I always like the idea of using Node.js with another runtime engine, and then Chakra came in, so I'm more interested in contributing to it and help maintaining the repository. So yeah, that's why I joined this.
Great, thank you for joining us. Yeah, I'm Alexis Campaila. I work on Node.js core, mostly maintaining Windows, and I'm on the CTC build and testing work group, and now this working group. So I will just act as facilitator here. So hello everyone, welcome to this project. So I just wanted to, have an informal discussion, get all on the same page on what the goals are. I mean, there's a group of people here who've been working together already, and then there's me and Joao who are kind of in between the Microsoft group and the Node.js Foundation, and then somebody who's just pure Node.js collaborator like the fourth eye. So the background is that ChakraCore did a port to implement Node.js on top of the ChakraCore engine with a shim, opened the PR to Node.js, and the Node.js CTC wasn't quite ready to accept the PR as it was. The main concern cited was that they didn't want to burden the collaborators with additional issues, but they do want to see progress on Node ChakraCore, so we decided to move it into a separate repo for now. And so the goal is to keep making progress in bringing this up to parity, I suppose, with Node V8, show that this team can keep up with the development happening in Node, and especially with V8 updates, right? So when V8 updates come and there is a break in Node ChakraCore, we need to prove that we can react to that fast enough, so that if one day ChakraCore is to be integrated into mainline Node, that it doesn't become a source of slowdown for the project, basically. And to keep improving the quality of the code, right now there's a bunch of tests that aren't passing. So definitely, I assume that's work that the Chakra team is taking on the engine side. And also, we should this group should try to come up with a roadmap for how to bring this project back into the main line, right? So what are the things that we need to achieve in order to get there? And this, I mean, the CTC simply kicked the ball down a little bit, so that conversation still needs to continue. And I think this group can make a proposal and lead the conversation, and then ping the CTC for feedback until finally we are ready to get merged back. Does that make sense? You want to add anything?
No, I think that's a perfect kind of goal for this work group, to kind of work towards working on a proposal for CTC to take up Node ChakraCore into the main line. I have started to kind of consolidate the feedbacks we have received on our PR thread and a subsequent thread which was opened by Michael, just to kind of gather the community sentiment around ChakraCore PR, and I will be kind of sharing that work to kind of seed that conversation around how the proposal should be made. So I can do that, in the following weeks or something. One thing we also want to kind of try to understand is there a cadence for this working group meeting, or is it just based on if we have enough agenda we would meet?
Right now there is no such cadence. I didn't want to give additional burden to collaborators, to have another scheduled meeting. But what do you guys think? In the build working group, for example, we have a cadence of once every 3 weeks, and before the scheduled time, we do a call for agenda items, and if there are no agenda items, we simply skip the meeting. Or we can go ahead and tag issues and pull requests, and when there is enough agenda, schedule a meeting. I think if we're gonna foresee heavy meetings, it's probably better to have a fixed schedule. So that people already have it on their calendar, rather than schedule and do a doodle poll every time. So I would say either we do a three weekly meeting or bi-weekly meeting, or we try not to have meetings at all.
I would be curious what is Fortify's opinion.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
I was trying to just being curious on what is your opinion.
I think once every 3 weeks, and if there are no agenda items, we can skip it. It's the safe way, probably.
I would like to add to that. In other work groups, Node.js is a lot of work groups. In most of the work groups, people will take some task and they'll start working on it. So whenever there is a meeting like this, so they'll attend and then they'll update the status like a quick stand-up initially, and then they'll discuss the open items. For example, now if you see the PR which was submitted to the Node.js core repository had a lot of concerns from other people. So probably, I mean, this is I'm just throwing random ideas. Initially, we can take the concerns and then we can encourage people to create separate issues in our repository in Node.js, and then we can address that. And then if we want to discuss on that, we can have a call. Like whenever it is necessary, we can have a call, and then we can discuss. So yeah, I think that would be a good starting point, I guess. I mean, right now we don't have any task in our hand, so that would be better, I think. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think we can continue working on GitHub, and then if we see the necessity to have a meeting, we can take it from there.
Okay.
Does that sound good, everyone?
Yeah.
Okay for me.
Yeah, that sounds good. So today we do have some agenda items, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So is there anything else that you want to discuss in terms of a high level, anything, about this group is going to operate? Or should we jump into the agenda items?
I would like to propose what I just said. Similarly, recently we had another PR for promising Node.js core API. So there, people had a lot of concerns. So people are opinionated, and then so it was not easy to handle that in a single PR itself. So we created the promise work group, and then they moved the discussion from that PR to, I mean, there were so many concerns. So the specific concerns were addressed in promise workgroups repository. So I mean, can we do something like that? I see that a lot of questions, confusion in the PR. Will it be better if we address them separately in our repository?
Yeah, so you're talking about the original PR to Node?
I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
Are you talking about the original PR to Node? I'm hearing you a bit low.
Oh,
I'm,
okay, okay.
I'm having a hard time understanding 100%.
I'll repeat. Um, the PR which was submitted to the Node.js core from ChakraCore
Yeah.
team, a lot of people coming up, I mean, mentioning their issues, or there were confusion how it is going to go forward. So we cannot address everything in a single PR. It will be difficult to track but who is answering which questions. I mean, so there may be confusion like that. It would be better if we address all those questions in our repository, no Chakra code. I think it will be better.
Yes. I think
We can
we could go through all the issues that people listed in the PR. Are you talking about the code review issues or the general issues about having ChakraCore in the first place?
general questions, because code review issues we can discuss in the PR itself. But there is a lot of general questions there, and which actually are derailing the discussion, technical discussion, which is supposed to happen in the PR. So this
Yes.
repository might be the right place to address their questions. So probably we can encourage people to ask their question uh, by raising an issue in our repository, and then we can address them there. So that
Yeah.
in the first to Node.js core, we can limit the discussion only to technical things here.
Yeah. So are you suggesting reviewing all the issues raised on the original PR and opening issues for each one of them on our repo so that we can
Yeah,
proactively be prepared to answer those?
yeah, that would be better, I think.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, and we did it for a couple of things that came out during the PR, but maybe we need to do a patch and make sure that we
So
do it exhaustively.
is the suggestion mostly about yeah? Okay, is the suggestion mostly about opening up new issues on ChakraCore repo for the non-technical questions people have raised?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it was about all the concerns that were raised. Yeah, not the code issues per se, but more of the general concerns that people raise, right?
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, so maybe that will invite, we can even invite the people who raise those issues. And so that basically we continue that discussion, right? But we break it down into individual topics and try to answer those.
Yes, our discussion will be focused in, if we do that.
Okay. Who wants to go ahead and open those issues? Anybody volunteers?
Yeah, turn off.
I'm very new to that, new to the system, so it would be better if somebody who worked on the core does that. It would be better, I think.
Okay, so maybe either Avinash or I can do it.
Sorry, I
Yeah.
missed that last part. What was it?
We were trying to figure out who could go and collect those concerns and open issues in our repo.
Yeah. Okay. So I certainly have started the process of curating all the feedback, and I will work with Alexis and figure out the right questions, and we'll open the issues after that.
Okay, sounds great.
Okay, yeah.
So then, shall we move to the next item on the agenda? This is about the PR for updating contribution guidelines. It doesn't seem to be controversial. Basically, it's just a tweak of the contribution guidelines in Node.js. Replacing Node.js with Node ChakraCore for the most part, removing text that doesn't apply here, and trying to make sure that we operate as much as possible like we do in Node Core, meaning reviews for all pull requests, CI for all pull requests, and those sort of things. And one of the most interesting aspects, I think, was defining who the collaborators are. So the collaborators on this repo would be this group and also all existing Node collaborators, so they can come here and give a +1 to a pull request, or they can raise concerns. And if anything should be controversial, then we would escalate to the CTC. So if you have any questions or concerns about this PR, please voice them now, or otherwise you can go back to GitHub.
About landing this PR, I suggested using a different branch only for changes that we only want in this repository. You stated that anyone wanting to try Node ChakraCore would have to check out a different branch. I think that is not that would not be a problem for someone trying to compile Node ChakraCore, but either way we could have a default branch that would take merges from the most updated ChakraCore version that we have, along with the documentation changes. I just think it would be good to separate the things that are not to be backported to Node to a different branch.
yes, I agree that it would be nice to have that separation. So the docs are a clear example, but there might also be code changes, right? Maybe a temporary fix that fixes a crash, right? But we know it's temporary. We're not going to backport it. So there could be multiple strategies. One is multiple branches, right? One would be the branch. We could maintain a branch that is master plus the ChakraCore changes that are supposed to become the PR. So it's the PR branch. And branched off of that, a branch with all the local changes that are not to be backported. The downside of that is that whenever we do an upgrade from master, then we'd have to do 2 branch updates instead of 1.
I think this question is related to the other PR proposal. I kind of think that we can do the same thing when we want to merge back the PR to mainnet, just to clean up our code and separate that, especially for PR. By that time, we can clean up like a readme.md and some other pipelines.
I'm not able to get.
So this is related to how we're going to open the PR at the end of the project, right?
Yes. So I think it's very hard to maintain the PR branch at this time because we are going to make changes to here. And another point I have is I think it's not very important to keep the history and the changes in this report because I think probably we will not have a lot other than like merge the master and then make some ChakraCore tweaks.
Yeah, the issue about how we're going to open the PR, if we're going to preserve the history of all the changes that have gone here or just squash it into a few commits for review. That's the approach that you guys took the first time around.
Yes.
I didn't review at the time to review Joao's proposal that he opened today, so I'm not prepared to give an opinion on that. I thought that opening a PR with squash commits made sense, and that it's going to facilitate the review anyway in Node Core, right? If we open a PR with all the commits, then they're going to have to review the changes all in one diff, right? Whereas if we open like 4 or 5 commits divided by area, they're going to be able to digest it a bit better. So, Joao, do you think that that's still the best strategy for opening the final PR, or do you have another idea?
In my proposal, I defend that we don't preserve everything, but squash commits that should be squashed, like ChakraCore updates. There should be only one commit importing changes from ChakraCore. And I also suggest that we use fixup to change commits that are already there. If it makes change, it has to be reviewed for each change.
Okay, I think we should go and review your proposal in detail. We're probably not going to be able to absorb it all right now.
Actually, the proposal is not completely connected to this thing about landing the doc changes, because either way, even if we go with my proposal or with the current way that we are handling it, the doc changes could live in a different branch or could be a separate commit on top of the default branch on ChakraCore.
Okay, so we can still try to resolve this part.
Yes.
So the goal here would be to be able to recognize the things that are not going to get backported, right?
Yes. If we have to to commit a fix that a code fix that is not going to be backported, I wouldn't object having it in the branch with the changes that are going to be backported for a while. In my proposal, I said that we rebase, and when we open a pull request with an update from master or with updates for ChakraCore, if the fix is no longer needed, I think it makes sense to exclude it at that point. But for the docked changes that govern only this repository and are somewhat unconnected to the change that we want to backport to Node, I think it would make some sense to isolate this.
Okay, so that would entail, though, whenever we make a change to the current ChakraCore master branch, right? The branch where the engine updates go into. Then we merge the PR, we push the branch, and then we also merge into the other branch, the branch with doc changes, and push that also, right?
Yes, I think that would make sense.
Okay, I'm not opposed to it. I think probably the people who are going to do most branch updates should think about this and see if they prefer that workflow.
What do you think, Jeff?
I feel it's probably hard. The current master already have the readme.md that's already changed, and I'm not going to backport.
I find it very hard to understand you, Arunesh.
This is JC actually talking. We're sharing the same microphone here. So I'll let JC talk again.
I think if you use the other computer or the other microphone and mute this one, it would probably be better. I don't know if that's possible.
Okay.
So I was saying the current Node ChakraCore report, the default branch, master branch, we already have the readme.md that's modified that shows just how to build on this Node ChakraCore. So that's the change already in the master, and we are not going to backport.
About that change in the README, for me, it would make sense to separate this at this point and first push the branch with the changes. Because the current README is probably not the exact one that we want to open the pull request with.
Yeah, that's definitely something that will not get backported, right?
Yes, we will want instructions on how to build with ChakraCore, but the current README says that it's Node on ChakraCore only.
So I think JC was trying to say that we already tainted the current ChakraCore master with things that we're not going to backport.
Currently on ChakraCore master, I think it's only the README change.
Yes. Yeah. So there is already one instance. Well, I think the fact that we already did it once should not be part of whether we want to do this or not, right? We can always fix that. We can make this ChakraCore master branch the branch with all the changes and create a new intermediate branch, which is the pristine PR branch, if we wanted to, right?
Yes, we want a set of commits to commit back to Node. So the objective of this repository is create that set of commits that is easy to review. So for me, it makes sense that we are not so strict about force pushing, and that we amend old commits when it makes sense. In my proposal, I propose that we do this all at once when updating from master. But of course, this is discussable.
Yeah, the alternative I was going to suggest is to have a label on the pull request down backport to Node. But I'm starting to see your point is that having a clean PR branch will help anybody who comes here have the diff, right?
Yes, exactly.
So I'm starting to see the point in this. I mean, we will be able to reconstruct the PR easily, probably anyway at the end. But in the meantime, for people who come here and try to inspect the diff, if they do it now, they see also these changes that should not be backported, right? So you're saying we should have a branch that could give a clean diff of what the PR would look like.
We could even include the link to the diff in the README of the default branch. On my proposal, I actually pushed the reworked branches to a repository in GitHub, and in the proposal there is a link that has all the commits that are not ChakraCore now, and the head of that branch is exactly the same as the pull request with the updates that was opened this week. But the commits are isolated and easy to review.
Okay. So, but we could keep the current ChakraCore master as the branch with all the changes, right, including the doc changes, and create a new branch called ChakraCore PR.
I think it would make more sense to have ChakraCore master as the branch that is going to be the PR, and create a different branch like ChakraCore docs or ChakraCore repo docs or something like that, with the documentation changing and taking merges from ChakraCore master.
Why do you prefer to create a new branch for the one with the doc when the current ChakraCore master already has some doc changes?
Because I think we should remove those doc changes from the current ChakraCore master.
Okay, so whatever branch is going to be pristine is going to have to be force pushed anyway.
Yes.
Or a new branch.
I propose having dated branches with a date suffix for every time we update from master, but force pushing ChakraCore when landing these changes to point to the most recent branch with the updates.
Okay. So, yeah, I suggest we go and review your proposal in detail. I think, in general, the idea of having a separate branch that shows the PR delta is a good idea. And possibly that's a branch that we can even force push, right? It's just a reference branch, just to show the diff. But the branch that we work on a daily basis, ideally we don't want to force push that. Otherwise, it's going to be hard for people to collaborate on.
I think that's not a huge issue either way, because if people open a pull request against the branch that we force push, what happens is that when we force push, the pull requests are going to be filled with the commits that we removed. But the pull request will be easy to update this way. If we have a branch, if we ask people to open pull requests against the branches that become outdated, when we create a new branch, a new pull request has to be open if it has still not landed.
Okay.
So I think for what we are trying to do here, force pushing is not the worst thing to do.
Okay, I will review your proposal in detail. I have a feeling though that force pushing should be avoided as much as possible for branches that people check out and collaborate on. Because otherwise, if you're working on a local change and you fetch the repo, then you're not going to be able to rebase your changes on the new branch. It really is a nuisance for collaboration.
Yeah, it takes a bit of Git skill to rebase it against the new force push changes, but what we are trying to do here is keep a set of commits evolving. So any change that people are working on, and while they are working on it, the base commits might change. I propose that we do this only when pulling from master, but I still think it's a good way to go.
Okay. Let's take the discussion back on GitHub. Unless you guys
Yes.
have any additional input. I think the idea of keeping the PR branch is good. Then the exact implementation details, I think,
Exactly, can be discussed and
we can discuss those. And if we can avoid force push, then we should. Okay.
I would like to do the proposal in detail. So right now I have just a vague idea. So yeah, I would like to go to that again.
Okay, great. So let's move on to issue 28, update contribution guidelines for JavaScript and C++ file. So the reason I tagged this for this meeting is because I realized that ChakraShim is now natively maintained in this repo. I sort of had assumed that it was living in a separate repo and pulled in as a dependency. And this is slightly concerning, in my opinion, that it's living in this repo. So in the perspective of merging this back into Node, I think it's going to signify that the Node.js core team is going to be responsible for maintaining the shim. And so this might be the source of pushback, right? I think the expectation was that the shim would be maintained as a separate project, and that the people who work on that project would provide Node.js core with a V8 lookalike that has all these other features and runs on all these other platforms, right? But they wouldn't have to maintain the shim, because now they have to have a completely different set of skills, right? They need to learn the JSRT API. They need to have much more knowledge of engine internals that the average collaborator does. So are you guys opposed to maintaining the ChakraShim in a separate repo and integrating it as a dependency?
So so we did that because the majority of this Node Chakra, if you look at it, the majority work is the ChakraShim itself. And also the ChakraShim is also created for Node, and we didn't like intend to create for anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard for us to understand to create a different repo just for ChakraShim.
Yeah, I think it boils down to the group of people who are going to be responsible for maintaining it, right? And if it's going to be part of the living natively in the Node core repo, the Node core team is going to feel like they're responsible for this code. It might be asking them too much. But we could postpone this question until we open the PR and we get that feedback.
Sure.
But I think it's going to be a point for discussion, so we might as well start having this discussion now at least.
Right. Maybe in the future, say this thing is merged to the mainland, we can still maintain another repo just like this, but then maybe, for example, move it back to Microsoft, and we can continue to work on that shim, and it's still a repo, but it's not a ChakraCore or ChakraShim repo. It's a a node chakra before, and then it's just the dips.
Yeah, I think that would have the lowest impact on Node itself, right? I mean, of course, you are providing the commitment to maintain not only the engine, but also the shim. I mean the Chakra team, right? A different group of collaborators who
Yes.
doesn't have to be all Microsoft because it's now an open source project, but whoever maintains that project is giving you the full solution, right? It's giving you a V8 lookalike shim.
Yes.
So, and I assume that you guys are already committed to maintaining that shim.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so do you guys think we should go in that direction already, or do you want to continue the discussion and maybe at some point ping the CTC on where the shims should live?
I vote for separate repository for SIM. As you said, it would be easy to pick changes to Node.js. It will make it easier. And people who like to contribute to the shim can focus on that repository to the
Yeah.
The effort
Yeah.
will not be. The effort will be perfect.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the easier sell to Node.js, right? And right
Yes.
now, you're going to be the ones maintaining it anyway. Then, if in the future they want to make changes to it, right, and the project is only maintained for Node, and if they really ask for it, then you can move it. But I doubt that it will happen for some time at least.
Probably we can discuss this with CTC, how they want this to be done.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I think we have a general agreement that it's probably the best direction to keep it separate, but let's document this discussion in public, open a separate issue,
Sure. Yeah.
summarize these points, and even ping the CTC.
Okay.
Okay. So the last item on the agenda is managing this repository Git towards the PR at the end. Joao, this is your proposal.
Yes, this is what I was defending before. This certainly has room for improvement and has to be carefully reviewed. But essentially, I think having a diff between two branches with the exact commits that we would use to open a pull request today would be good, would make it easy for review. And this is one way to do it. The others I've listed there in the issue too, but I might be forgetting something, or others may think that one of the other options might be more manageable. So it is open for discussion.
Yeah, okay. So I think we already had this discussion, and I think since this issue was open recently, I don't think everybody had a chance to review it. So we should probably go to GitHub and discuss it there.
Okay.
Okay, so those are all the agenda items. Is there anything else that you guys want to bring up?
Do we have timeline?
Arunesh, are you trying to say something? We cannot hear you.
No, I was gonna say that we still have to figure out how to make this work. You're all in the same room.
Yeah, it's usually better if you have
I
your
think this was
own
a
laptop
pretty
and
good
headphones.
first meeting, and I was taking a look at the notes part. How somebody was supposed to take notes, so I'm not sure how is that supposed to happen.
Yeah, I think we did better at that. Well, at least we have the video recording. I can try to summarize some of the action items that we have come up with.
Okay. Sorry, you broke up on the first part. What was the first part of the comment?
I said that, yeah, we did better keeping notes. Let's try it better next time, but I can try to summarize some of the action items that we have collected and put them in that doc and add it to the meeting issue.
Yeah.
And we also have the video, though, so we have a recording of it.
That's good.
So we can go at it after the fact.
I think we should introduce Sandeep, who joined the Hangout a little bit later, but he is also part of the Node Chakra team here.
Hi.
Hi, Sandeep.
Hi, everybody.
Hi. So you guys are
Hi,
all
everybody.
in the same room, huh?
You can tell what.
So I'm Sandeep, and I basically work on the Node and ChakraCore integration thing, primarily focused on debugging aspect of ChakraCore with Node.
Currently, you're implementing the.
So the strategy we took is like ChakraCore implements same JSRT API for debugging, and then we write a shim in Node similar to the Chakra shim to translate Chakra debugging messages to V8 protocol messages, so that any existing debugger like VS Code or Node Inspector works without any changes with Node ChakraCore. And with the private with the feature branch in ChakraCore named JSRT debugging, we have VS Code working with Node ChakraCore in debugging, similar to Node V8 without any changes.
So that's where the latest progress is.
Yes.
Then take a look at those.
Right. Soon, once we land our JSRT debugging API in ChakraCore master, we will update the PR with the debug shim as well, so that Node ChakraCore can be debugged using Node Inspector or VS Code. So that's the progress on debugging feature coming up in Node ChakraCore.
That's awesome. Looking forward to it.
Good.
Okay. While we decide
about it.
That's good.
So while we'll work out these contribution guidelines and the branch strategy, I mean, I don't think this needs to hold up any work in terms of the weekly master integrations, right? So
yeah, no, I don't think.
We can continue doing that, and also we're adding support for CI. Joao was working on that. I think it's almost done. There were some failures, but at least we have support for it in CI. So we can definitely keep making progress there, and then revisit the strategy for branching and fixing things after the fact if we need to.
Yep.
Okay. So unless there is anything else, I think we can call this meeting done.
Very cool. Well, thanks for organizing this, Alexis. Appreciate it, and let's keep it rolling.
Yeah, thank you for joining. See you back on GitHub.
I have one question here. I was wondering if you guys are looking at any specific timeline, like when, at what point of time we are going to integrate with Node.js. Because by April we may have 6.0 release. So what version are we targeting this? And what are the work items pending?
So, I mean, I can take that in terms of timeline. I don't think we can plan for a timeline because we are doing the work, constantly updating the shim. with the latest changes, I think it is the readiness of the community and CTC to be able to accept the PR. In April, there's a VM summit happening in California where we'll be meeting with the CTC members, the V8 engineers, and the Chakra engineers will be there as well to understand what's the best path going forward. So I think there'll be a better clarity about how and when this PR can be landed after that meeting, which is scheduled for, I believe, first week in April. I forget the dates, but first week after that, we'll have certainly a better clarity on the timeline and actually the requirements. So there are no clear requirements clearly articulated about what we need to kind of check off, saying, okay, we are ready to be merged. And I think the proposal Alexis had in the beginning of the meeting, so that we produce a roadmap ourselves based on the feedback, and then bring that roadmap to CTC to be able to engage in a discussion where we kind of clearly articulate what needs to happen and what's the timeline.
Yeah, I think that's the best course of action at this point. We need to figure out what needs to be done to convince the CTC, to compel the community, to have this into core. And it's going to be our responsibility to make that proposal even.
Yeah. So I think that's the first work item towards trying to get that conversation going with CTC. The work we need to do is curate the current set of feedback on the PR, and have some sort of a possible mitigation or answer towards that, and then kind of bring this up to CTC and have a detailed discussion there.
Any other questions?
I wanted to know if we had any list of tasks to be done, something like that, so that we can pick it up and then work on it.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand.
I was wondering if you have a list of open items, tasks to be done.
There was a list of open items that Arunash and I threw around in an email.
Let me kind of share that out, sometime next week. List of feedbacks we had, and then we can. What's the best way to do that?
Issues on GitHub.
I was asking technically.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll be creating issues for all the general questions.
Yes.
Okay.
Technically, the shim needs some people to actively work on some areas.
Yeah, I think we have the integrations from master, right? That's going to be on a weekly cadence. Then we're planning to add support in CI, specifically ChakraCore. Update the contribution guidelines to make sure that we catch speed and are able to test pull requests and review pull requests. That's already in progress. And then we want to have builds of Node.exe and the MSI from Node.js.org. That would be a big achievement, because that would make it a lot easier for people to consume Node.chakra.
So there are a list of open issues. Are you talking about anything other than those issues?
I think the question is for the fourth eye.
Yeah, the question is for the fourth eye.
You mean the list of issues open in GitHub right now?
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't gone through all of them, so probably I'll take a look at that.
Yeah, I mean, there's thinking about OpenSSL. Consider as a build on our port GYP changes. CPU profile, slow TCP. There's a whole bunch of issues. See if they are workable at the time or not.
Sure, I'll take a look at that.
Okay.
Okay, we're almost at the top of the hour, so thanks everybody for joining.
I have one more question.
Have a great weekend.
I think he has a question. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Right now, if people want to write add-ons for Node.js, they would use NAN. There is a project called NAN. So I have never done anything on that front, but then will ChakraShim will ChakraShim work with NAN?
Yeah.
Is there any changes?
So there is NAN is fully supported with ChakraCore. So any native module targeted with NAN should work.
Okay.
Yeah, if you follow the build instructions in the README, right?
Yeah.
There is some special step.
For sometimes we had problems with and on ChakraShim and
I didn't get that.
I think the intention is that it is supposed to be fully supported. There have been some issues that we have found bugs, and then we have gone back and fixed it.
Okay, fine. Yeah.
Okay, but do we need special instructions to build native modules after you do VC build ChakraCore? Or is the Node.js already patched in the Node ChakraCore repo?
Yeah, currently in the setup we have some releases on the Node ChakraCore report, so it modifies the Node.js.
Okay, but they're not in the source. So if you build from source, you cannot build modules then.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, in build from source need special instructions. Yeah, we had some old instructions before, and then it's too complicated. Have to specify like a Node.js and a lot of stuff. Yeah, we don't have those in the current master.
Okay, I hope that answers the 4 Thai questions.
Yeah, it does. Thanks.
Okay, guys.
All right.
Thank you for joining.
Yeah, bye now.
Bye now.
Bye. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.